In this video, we're going to learn how to taste wine. Why do we need to know how to taste wine? For a couple of reasons. For your own personal enjoyment, also very importantly, to recommend wines to your guests that you've tasted and know something about. We're going to employ a simple system for our wine tasting called the 5 S's. And those are sight, swirl, smell, sip, and savor or spit. So let's start with the first of those 5 S's, the sight. The first of the 5 S's is the sight. We want to pick the wine up, look at it, make sure that it's bright, not cloudy or dull. That would be the sign of a wine that's flawed somehow. Just it needs to be bright and appear to be a healthy wine. So from there we'll go to the second of the 5 S's, which is swirl. Basically by swirling we're releasing some of the aromas, and we're also checking what the wine does on the side of the glass. With this, a red wine, we've got lots of color in the tiers and the legs. The legs are sort of thick to form. But in any wine, you're going to want to look to see what the coating is around the glass. You'll be able to tell if it's a dry or a sweet wine, how much oak it's seen, potentially where it's from. You can really learn a lot from the sight of the wine. The second of the 5 S's is swirl. So just keeping your glass on the table, give it a little swirl, and this helps to release a lot of the aromas that we'll smell in a moment, and also starts to form the legs that are the drips that form and cascade down the side of the glass, showing us color. Also based on their thickness, that could mean sugar or extended wood contact, etc., etc. But more than anything, the swirl has opened up the aroma for us to go ahead on and move to the next step of the 5 S's. 5S number 3, smell. This might be the most important part of wine assessment. So you want to put your nose right into the wine, take a nice big inhale, and then do it again. You're looking for first whether or not the wine is clean. Does it smell fresh and fruity and vibrant and alive? If not, it's probably not any good. If there are some off aromas, there might be a problem with it. But first, check for the fruit aromas. In red wines like this, you'd look for red, blue, black fruits. In white wines, typically, you might think about citrus, tree fruit like apples and pears, stone fruit like nectarines and apricots, and or tropical fruit like mango, guava, pineapple, etc., etc. So we want to go ahead and smell it again. We've looked for fruit. Are there earth characteristics in the wine? If it's leading with fruit and fruit first, it's probably going to be a wine from the New World. If what you smell first is minerality, earth turned earth, or stones, stony minerality, chances are it's going to be an old world wine. And then also we want to look for signs of oak aging. If I smell, as I do in this wine, quite a bit of baking spice, things from the baking cabinet like vanilla, cinnamon, clove, etc., etc., that means that this wine has spent some time in a barrel. If I don't smell any of those things, probably less oak content. All right, on to the sip. I typically am going to take 1 sip to get my palate primed and ready. And it's the second one that I'm really going to think about and judge, because my mouth is ready now. So the second sip is the one that's going to tell all. I ask myself first if the wine is sound, which this one is. Is it clean? I'm going to look for a lot of the characters that I had on the smell in terms of what sort of fruit is it, what sort of earth components am I getting, what's the wood like. And here I'm going to start to think about things like tannin, acidity, alcohol, right? I'll be able to feel the heat from the alcohol. Acidity I'll feel on the sides of my tongue. Tannins or tannic acid I'll feel on my gums. And then as I segue to savor, I'm going to think about the length of the finish. So let's go there now. Okay, the last of the 5 S's, savor or spit. If you're at work, tasting wine in a pre-shift or at a professional tasting, obviously you're gonna wanna spit the wine out. But if you're out to dinner or at home enjoying some wine, you're gonna wanna savor the wine and think about how it's lasting in your mouth, what the length of the finish is. So the longer you can taste that wine, the longer it finishes in your mouth, the more high quality the wine is. So this wine is still finishing in my mouth. I can still taste it. It's a high quality wine. So just to review, simple approach to wine tasting are these 5 S's. The sight, swirl, smell, sip, and savor. Enjoy.